welcome to the Tons 2 Cents, which is the after episode of Tons 2 Cents called Keep the Change. And for the intellectuals out there who have listened and subscribed and follow since its inception, you never know what we're going to talk about in the Keep the Change episode. So, Sarah and I just finished recording a really, really interesting episode on AI and data privacy. And Sarah, you brought up something in the episode that I had never heard of this term before. And I know a lot of our intellectuals are parents. I've got a 13-year-old, you've got boys, they are the glass generation, this Gen Alpha, that is this new generation. They've always had an app or they've always had, like a laptop or a cell phone or whatever and I've
Yes,
never heard of Virgin PII. So let's unpack that a little bit and
sure.
talk about, our kids and how and why we should be concerned about it.
Absolutely. So let me explain the term first because I made it up. Not today. It's not like something I made up today. But I've been saying this for like 2 years now. And every time I say it, people kind of look at me funny. And what I mean is people who are young, who do not have any reason to have credit yet, or really have any reason to look at a credit report, people whose identities are ripe to be stolen. Just absolutely ripe because no one is watching. If you are a senior citizen and you're receiving Social Security disability benefits, right? Or just Social Security benefits because you're just, like my parents, you're old. And you're receiving that. There are ways that if someone tried to mess with your benefits or steal your identity, you would find out because the money wouldn't hit your
Yeah.
account, right? And so you call the Social Security Administration office and they validate there's an issue and you reset everything and it's going to be fine, right? Or you go to buy a car and you get turned down for an auto loan that you should have gotten, right? And they're like, well, sorry, Miss Wilson, your credit score is actually like 580. We're not going to give you this. And you're just like, what? Excuse me? Like, that's impossible.
It's
Like,
780, excuse me. That's so wrong. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So you're going to run into scenarios where you're going to catch this problem, is my point. And you're probably, if you're smart, you freeze your credit and you can lift those freezes, thaw and whatever. It's free. Everyone has to do it by federal law. Every credit reporting agency has to allow you to freeze and unfreeze your credit as many times as you want, as often as you want, you know,
How
for free.
long?
It's federal
Like,
law.
how
Anytime.
long can you freeze it?
Mine's
Like, if I say
permanently
I wanna
frozen.
freeze it, like, how long?
Permanently. Mine's permanently frozen. If I have to go get like a loan or anything, or if I want to finance, people do or companies do like 12 months interest-free financing. Like if I want to take
Yeah.
advantage of one of those things, I have to go in and lift my freeze for 24 hours and it's instantaneous. Like, I'll give you an example. Moving into an office space, I wanted to buy a fridge. Best Buy was doing 12 months interest free on, pretty much anything if you had a qualifying credit score. So I went into, the three credit unions and I lifted my credit for 24 hours. 5 minutes later, I got on Best Buy. I applied for that and I got it. Um,
Wow. I have
and the
never heard of
next day,
that.
yeah, and because it was approved, the next day it went back to being closed automatically. I didn't have to do anything. And now I'm getting a bunch of stuff and I'm paying, no interest on it because I mean the time value of money is a real thing. Uh
Yeah.
but my point is we can do that as adults and we absolutely should. But our children, your son is not going to go apply for a loan to buy a car. My 9-year-olds or my 5-year-old are not going to go apply for a loan to buy a house, right? They are not going to
Right.
apply for credit cards at this age. They're not getting a Target card, right? Because I pay for everything. So everything is based on my credit and my income, or my husband and my credit, and my husband's and my income, right? So no one is watching or would find out if someone stole my child's identity. And
Because no
because
one's
no one's
looking.
watching, no one's
Yeah.
looking, is my point. And so you'll see a lot of attackers, cyber actors, go after K through 12 schools, and they do it for two reasons. Really, one, it's super easy because public institutions, especially public institutions, don't have a lot of money to invest in cybersecurity, right? So it's low hanging fruit to them. It's not like they're trying to hack into IBM or the Department of Defense, right? It's easy. It's not going to take a lot of effort. The next thing is there's a constant stream of data, Virgin PII, being funneled into those schools every single
And
year.
created all the time too, right? Yeah.
So there's a reason attackers will go after K through 12 schools. One, a lot of them are public, so they're underfunded in terms of cybersecurity. They're worried about paying teachers and pensions and school supplies and labs and equipment. So they don't invest as much in the security of the data that they're housing. So that's reason number one attackers go after them. This is low hanging fruit. It's easy. The next thing is that a school has a constant reoccurring treasure trove of new virgin PI every single year. You
Oh my
had
god.
students every year, a new class graduates, a new class enrolls every year, right? So you're seeing more and more kids, and it's just never ending. And they can take that virgin PII and they can mine it, see who's frozen, see who's unfrozen, you know, and start using it to their abilities to the extent they need to. So they can create new identities. If someone really wants to create an identity, they can use them to, apply for financial benefits, regardless of what those are. You know, they can apply for Social Security disability benefits because you're entitled to Social Security if you've been on disability for 24 months, and create, a disability profile and apply for that. And the parent's really never going to know. All you do is change the address to where the mail is incoming and answer the forms, and you're done, right? So no one is monitoring them. And so it's so easy to take them. And then for people wanting to enter the country illegally, a lot of those kids may not have passports. What if they don't have parents, that either immigrated here so they have a passport, or they don't have parents that can take them on out of country excursions, and those true ID laws are not yet in for minors, right? So no one is tracking their identifications, which is why I can walk up and get on a flight, to Colorado with just my child's birth certificate, which doesn't have a picture on it, right?
Yeah, I
So
still
it's
think that
so
that's crazy
easy. Isn't
that
that nuts?
that kids are,
They're just ripe.
I
Just ripe for the
often
picking.
think, like, kidnapped, right? What if they kidnap the kid or, like, it's an infant or something? It's just, like,
And they
how
don't even need to kidnap the kid. That's the benefit, because they can create an image on a picture, you know,
yeah,
to deep fake whatever they need if they really need that child or that child's background for something. And it's not just about identifying what is scary now. It's about knowing that there's things that we haven't identified yet that would scare us. And the reason they want that data is to fuel those unidentified, unknown things, because they are moving faster than us. Cyber attackers run large businesses. They have human resources, they have bonus departments, they have all of these, really sophisticated subcomponents of any sophisticated business. And they're moving faster than we are because they're in a personal gain enterprise, right?
right.
So they are thinking of things before we have. And so I'm not as much worried about what someone would do with my minor child's virgin PII as much as things that they'll do with that virgin PII that I have no idea they can do yet. And that is why it's so important to have vigilance and to freeze your child's credit. Because, like I said, we forfeited our privacy already, but they have a chance not to have done that. And that's really where I think the next frontier is. So
Yeah,
that's the part that scares me.
yeah. Well, I think the other thing too is you mentioned something about, the fact that they don't have, like, credit or, any type of a credit history and stuff like that. But some kids do have, like, uh debit cards,
Mhm,
and they do use, like, green light, for example, is one of those where you use it
mhm,
like a visa, but it's pre-funded, like, type of thing. And so, like, we've used that with Henry, and we use other types of mechanisms to kind of teach him, like, good financial hygiene and practices. He forgot that he had it on auto renewal for an app, and he was wondering why, like, his allowance kept getting smaller and smaller. I'm like, dude, you don't even play this game anymore, and you've got your credit card attached to it, and, like, that's where it goes, like, and it was just insane, like, he wasn't realizing it. So, like, so some kids do kind of, like, have those,
mhm,
like, credit things. um and so, like, that kind of concerns me too. But then, like, I think you mentioned too about, roadblocks and, like, all the, online gaming and different things like that with, um avatars and stuff. How concerned which should we be about some of that, um, online collaborative type of play that you think that he's, like, I think sometimes my son's like, oh, that's a bot. Like, that's not a real person. Like, they know how to, you know, find. and be
Yeah.
able to identify things like that.
Well, so I think it's a balance, just like anything else. My children have Roblox. I feel comfortable when they play Roblox to a certain extent, because you can report people, and Roblox doesn't play. If there's a report against someone, they're banned until you're guilty until proven innocent, so to speak, in
Right.
Roblox. And so I've had those communications with my child that like you don't need to be talking to anybody, and that we don't know. Number one, and two, or playing with anybody. And if they ask you anything about themselves, they're gone. So I don't stick my kids in a technology free bubble. My older sons both have iPads. My youngest son has a Kindle, and then my oldest son has a computer because he loves technology. And of course, as a fellow technology enthusiast, I'm just thrilled that he loves it. However, we don't have Fortnite. Fortnite is not for kids. Fortnite is purely avatars. They can communicate with each other over Fortnite, and they can conduct financial transactions over Fortnite. So I am not a Fortnite
Yeah.
parent. I had promised my son I would look at it and reconsider my position because all his friends playing it and he wants to play it. But it's all about that interaction with your kid. Unfortunately, just kind of comes down. The main thing I'm going to tell my children is that like don't put anything on a phone or say anything via a chat or a text that you wouldn't want read in front of your school principal or me. You know, um,
Yeah.
is make that important. But in terms of protecting themselves, the big thing is just don't reveal anything. If you want to play a game, and if I can trust my child to, put on his little cat avatar or whatever it is, play a game and not talk to anyone about themselves, that would be one thing. But he's 9. I don't trust him not to do that. And then at the same time, there's, the right for online manipulation. And then another thing is like some of these games are so violent. I wonder, you know, just if
With
how that's
the
gonna affect their
psychological
brain. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea, but I know enough to
I
know that
know.
I'm not always making an informed decision.
Yeah, no, I get it, and I'm one of those, like, I allow Fortnite, he's older,
Mhm.
like,
Well, he's
he's older than
13,
your
mine are
boys,
9.
like
Yeah.
yeah, I get it, right? So you have to do things that are, like, age appropriate for,
Mhm.
where they're at and stuff like that, and use certain things like, like a teaching moment,
Mhm.
and teaching them, like, real life, on the job type of scenarios of, "This is not appropriate," and whatnot, so that they understand the consequences, like of things. But with all the, like the cautions and stuff like that, I am truly impressed about how they can multitask. Like he can build, shoot, and talk like at the same time and
Mhm.
still have YouTube and a live stream of him playing and he knows
Yeah.
exactly where everything is. I'm just like, that just blows my mind.
It's amazing.
Um,
Mine have a group chat
yeah,
going and the game and YouTube watching another game all at the same time. And it's incredible. But I think for parents, the main thing is, Apple makes it super easy for you to set up parental controls when you set up an iPad. If you tell them you're doing it for a minor, they'll automatically walk you through it. The next thing is you can get in-home firewalls that will automatically block certain IP addresses. You can cut the internet. And then with my son's computer, there's on any computer, you have the option to be an administrator or be a user. And these are actually very important
those are very
cybersecurity,
simple. Yep.
yeah, concepts, but that are ripe throughout like HIPAA regulations, right? So my son is set up as a user on his computer. He is not an administrator. So he cannot download anything without my knowledge. He cannot even
Right.
open up Chrome without my permission.
You can age restrict a lot of that too. So,
Yeah.
it's like
But my
they
thing is
can't.
oh no, I just go into the control center on the computer as the administrator and I say this user cannot open Chrome. So he cannot open it. It sends me a text if he wants to open it. So he can't even open the browser. Um, so there's ways to kind of go about it. And I
Yep.
think, you know, it's just protecting them from themselves and from the mistakes that we've already made and forfeiting our own privacy.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, anyways, you and I literally could talk all day long and we do need
Yes.
to wrap this up. So, yeah, so this actually concludes our episode of Keep the Change with Sarah Anderson here. We will be providing Sarah's contact information, reach out to her. Highly recommend that you settle, like schedule a one-on-one for like all your cybersecurity and legal matters. For
Thank
the
you.
intellectuals out there who have not followed us, subscribed, or even are aware of us, please share us with your friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, whoever will listen to us. We want to spread the love and spread this information out to everybody. So thanks again, Sarah, for joining us. And again, intellectuals, we will catch you on the next episode.